Welcome to the special edition and special coverage on Nile TV International. I'm here to carry you out. My name is Lubna Yahya. Throughout this special edition, we're going to be, of course, covering the latest events and developments in regards to the current war in the region, in which we say first, Iran accused the United States on Friday of breaching their truce, as both sides blamed the other for triggering an overnight clash in the Strait of Hormuz. And during a visit to Rome, the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, he said in Washington that they were expecting a response from Iran to the United States' proposals for a deal to end the conflict. However, Rubio slammed as unacceptable efforts by Iran to control the Strait of Hormuz, following a report that Iran has created an authority to approve a transit through the vital waterway. Also, U.S. President Donald Trump said the ceasefire with Iran was still in place despite an Iranian attack on 3 American destroyers in the Strait of Hormuz, in which he dismissed as a trifle. And the U.S. military said it had carried out strikes on Iranian military targets in response. The U.S. Central Command, known as the CENTCOM, has also said that Iranian forces launched multiple missiles, drones, and small boats at 3 U.S. warships. However, none were hit. In this regard, we are going to be having with us over the phone Dr. Mohamed Ezaby, the professor at the Arab African Center for Political Studies, to shed more light. Good evening to you, Dr. Mohamed.
Good evening to you and all the audience of Nile TV.
Thank you for being with us on Nile TV International, sir. Let's begin with finding out why exactly is Iran accusing the United States of violating the ceasefire?
Well, we all saw what happened yesterday from the strikes from United States towards Bandar Abbas and Qasem Island. United States say it is not break ceasefire, but it's just try to prevent some Iranian ships to cross from Hormuz Strait. But Iran, up till now, insists that United States broke the ceasefire and didn't. Abbas Araghchi said that Iran didn't negotiate under any strike pressures, and they refuse any kind of strikes towards Iran in the time of negotiations, and Iran is ready to answer this break of ceasefire anyway.
Yes, and how has exactly the United States responded to Iran's accusations, especially that they are quite very serious accusations?
Well, the United States carried out retaliatory air and missile strike against Iranian military infrastructure, according to U.S. military statement. The target includes missile launch sites, that's what the United States said, drone facilities and command and control centers. The strikes were described as a response to Iranian attacks on U.S. naval forces in the Strait of Hormuz. Washington framed the action as defensive and provocatorial, aimed at preventing further escalation. This makes a clear shift from a deterrence posture to active kinetic relations on Iranian territory and assist. Also, simulate Iran escalated pressures in the Gulf region. Iranian forces engage U.S. naval movement in the Strait of Hormuz using missiles, drones, and post-attack craft. Iran also seized a sanctuary oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman, escalating the maritime confrontation and signaling willingness to disrupt commercial shipping routes. This reflects Tehran's strategy of leveraging energy choke points as a strategic leverage against Washington and its allies. So,
right. I can hear you. I can hear you clearly, Mr. Mohammed. Keep going, please.
Okay. Between Iran and the United States, there is a Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz, which should become a central theater of confrontation. Really, 20% of global oil flows through the strait. The U.S. has previously attempted naval escort and freedom of navigation operations Iran has warned the U.S. Any U.S. naval presence inside the strait could be treated as a hostile act. So the U.S. considered or implemented measures resembling a partial blockade or control. Iran responded with threats, retaliation against any enforcement presence. This creates a situation of high escalation where a civil incident could trigger poor dynamic. So I think up till now, all talks about negotiations will not reach to any result.
So for how long are we going to be
staying? The war will
staying?
become again anyway.
For how long are we going to be staying in this state of strain? Like it's a gray zone. We are not in the middle of war anymore. However, the ceasefire is very fragile. We can expect anything to happen at any moment. For how long is the region going to be in this state of strain that is considered a gray zone?
Well, as I said, as you said, that the ceasefire is too fragile. So the diplomatic mediation channels such as Pakistan and Oman has produced no sustainable agreement. Iran nuclear enrichment program, missile development capabilities, freedom of navigation in the Gulf, sanctions, relief, and reconstruction conditions. All these conditions, American conditions, are refused by Iran. So no way to reach an agreement anyway. I think that Donald Trump will wait till he back from China and will start to strike Iran again with Israel, especially that Benjamin Netanyahu announced many times yesterday and a day before that no way to stop the war towards Iran without changing the government system. So no way to stop this war without achieving Benjamin Netanyahu's goal, especially that Benjamin Netanyahu always controlled Donald Trump and led him to the way that Netanyahu wants.
Well, of course, we know that they are very strong allies, the United States and Israel, and they go hand in hand to a lot of decisions. Could this situation, this gray zone, the strain of the war, be actually on purpose for economic purposes?
Well, it will affect economically, sure. We saw how the oil raised from $65 per barrel of oil up till now to $116 per barrel. All the ways to send oil, specific supply chains to Europe is stopped, to China is stopped. It affects the economy, raised of all prices, especially we saw many countries reduce their flights because no way to find a fuel for their planes. It affects, sure, the economic all over the world. Many people in Africa and didn't have oil in their lands.
Yes.
They depend on importing oil from the Gulf countries and Iran. So now they didn't have any way to import a barrel of oil from Hormuz Strait. Manufacturing, it affects factories, it affects all economic process all over the world.
Right. Dr. Mohamed Ezaby, thank you very much for being with us on Nile TV International. We had the pleasure of speaking to you about the current updates. Professor at Arab African Center for Political Studies, Dr. Mohamed Ezaby, thank you once more for being with us on Nile TV. And we're going to be giving you more updates, ladies and gentlemen, on the war. Stay tuned.